Johnson question out of the way quick. Okay. Having them back on the schedule, that rivalry was really amping up right before it left. What does that mean to get it back on the schedule?
You know, it's interesting. I've got to think before I say it. I think it's my 24th year in the league now. I think going into it, and you know, we had some great games back in the '80s. Then certainly coming back, you know, they were really strong. But yeah, it's been a great series. It's a border rival, obviously, and it just makes perfect sense, I think. So, selfishly, I think it's probably something both states and both schools are probably excited about. The good news is moving forward is with our expansion, you know, we'll all be in the same division, which is great too. So, you know, but last year, nobody's mad about last year. It's just their last 2 years, just, you know, the byproduct of expanding.
Where are you at with the quarterbacks, and ideally when would you like to be able to know who the guy is?
Not a lot's happened since the end of spring ball, as far as I know. So, you know, we'll evaluate the guys when we get back to camp. And, you know, we've been down this road before. You got 3 young guys, so I would expect them to look a little bit different maybe than they were during spring practice. And we'll take whatever time is necessary during camp to make a determination. And, you know, whether it be 3 guys competing or if it gets down to a 2-man race. And, you know, selfishly, the better, sooner the better, probably making the decision. But I think in fairness to everybody, the 3 guys involved, our football team, we have to let it run its course. And just, you know, there's no way to really predict it, I guess. So, you know, we'll just take it day by day.
In receiving, is it a hope that CJ and Cavante will carry the load and some of the younger guys will step up?
Yeah, you know, we obviously graduated 1 guy that's very productive for us, but we've got Cavante back, we've got CJ back, certainly. And Damon Bullock's done good things in the pass game, Mark Weissman has. So we've got to, I think, start with the guys that we have. Devon Smith's a freshman we chose to play last year, a true freshman. And we think he's got a real upside and good future. So, you know, start there and then just try to play to our strengths. But, you know, I think we're probably healthier than we were last year. That's the good news. The bad news is that, you know, we weren't very good last year in the throwing game. So, you know, we've got a lot of work to do. But that's going to be a real focal point for us in August. And the biggest thing is to try to get the guys that can help us be productive, get them out on the field and utilize what they do best.
With Tavon, what is it about that upside that you see in him that leads you to think he can?
You know, he runs well. Start with that. I thought he competed hard. You know, he made some first-year mistakes. You expect that. But just I like his attitude. I think he works hard, and he's got good ability. But he played young last year, and we expected that. We knew that, and we, you know, we're trying to push him on the field a little bit more, knowing that we were going to probably pay a price for that at times. But he did some good things as well. And key thing for any player is to build on the good things that we've done, and you know, try to improve from there. And I thought he did a nice job in the spring. So now, you know, we just got to keep pushing him along and get him where he's confident that he can play really well.
Coach, with last year's record, what it was, do the players need any extra motive? I mean, how are you addressing that in terms of trying to get them any extra motivation that they might need or anything?
You know, when you win 4 games, there's plenty of motivation. You know, we got the unfortunate opportunity to sit home, you know, for the holidays. And we met right after the season and had a 5-week. It seemed like a 5-week Christmas break, a holiday break between semesters. So, you know, you get to watch everybody else playing bowl games, and it starts there. You want to play a bowl game every year, certainly. But, you know, just all the things that we missed, and most importantly, in a bowl game, you get a chance to be together for another month. You get a chance to go compete against a good football team, and we missed out on that. So I'm sure that adds to motivation, but I think anytime you start a new year, regardless of what the last season may have brought you, you know, you should be motivated because you got to realize if you play in a tough conference, which we do, it's going to be tough week in and week out, and I'd say the same thing about our 4 non-league games. I'm just enthused about the way the guys have handled every step along the way. And, you know, we met in November. That wasn't much fun. It was just, you know, we're coming off the season. It was disappointing. So thank you. That's, you know, it's always hard. And you can do 2 things. You can pout. It's like losing a game. You can pout, or you go back to work. And our guys chose to go back to work, and they've done it with a good attitude. So the exposures I've had to them, I'm really pleased with each and every one of them. And, you know, the next big thing for us is handling camp well. So that'll be the next big step. But based on what I've seen looking backwards, I'm really enthused about what's going to, you know, take place in August.
Coach, the biggest difference opening up against Northern last year, you had a real tight game on the field while they come to Iowa City.
You know, we had a ton of respect for Northern going into last year's game. And everybody knows they went to the Orange Bowl last year, had a great season. They had a really good season the year before, too, and I think, you know, people locally know that. So we had an awful lot of respect for them. Their biggest question mark was the quarterback position. They lost a tremendous player 2 years ago and filled it with another tremendous player. So, you know, we expect the same kind of contest this year as we had last year. We had our hands more than full. We were probably fortunate to come out of there with a victory. And, you know, if you're a really smart person, if you could have predicted them going on and winning out and us, you know, going 4-8, probably could have made some money on that one. But it's a real credit to what they've done. They've done it for a long time. They've been really good, and it goes back to the program that Coach Novak built, and a lot of good coaches have come through there since then.
As far as getting through summer workouts, would you say the team's pretty much relatively healthy at this point in time?
Yeah, the good news, you know, back in May was that everybody looked like they were going to be able to participate. When June came around, thinking about guys like Louis Trinket-Passat, to name one, who was coming off surgery, Noel McMillan, 2 guys that missed this spring. So, you know, everybody's been able to work. We've had a couple bumps in the road with appendicitis attacks. For 14 years, we had 2 in like a week, I guess it was, a week, 8 days, somewhere in that ballpark. And, you know, some soft tissue injuries, that's common anytime you have a workout program going. But, yeah, we expect everybody to be ready to go. Obviously, the 2 guys with appendicitis issues, you know, they're going to be a little slow starting out. Everybody should be ready to go in August.
With Louis, were you aware over the course of last season that he was playing with the torn rotator cuff, or is that something they just kind of kept from you up until last season concluded?
You know, years ago they didn't repair those. Just because I asked that question, we've had a lot of these now in the last 5-8 years. Some license on it on Liberty. What it is now, they surgically repair them. You know, we had guys like Gallery playing with them. We've had other players back, you know, 14, 15 years ago. It's just something you tolerated, you braced it, and played with it. So typically, you know, unless it's really extreme, guys play with those, and they get through the season. And then we've had a lot of repairs done in January. So it's kind of been the process. And if a guy can play with it without backtracking and really doing damage, you know, they let him play medically. So it's an injury, unfortunately. It's common in football, and we've had more than a handful through the years.
Coach, can you talk about the offensive and the defensive lines? You had a lot of young guys get some experience last year. What's your expectation?
You know, the offensive line, start there. You know, we've got 5 guys back that have starting experience last year. And Noel McMillan's had some in his past. If we get him back healthy, got a guy like Jordan Walsh in the thick of things. So at least I think we're further along in that regard. In the defensive league, we've got Louis and Dom Alvis, our only senior really, in the group that yeah, I think are good starting points for us. And I think probably the big difference with the defensive line, we're still young in terms of chronological age, but I think the big difference is that we have a lot more depth. And I think opportunities for guys to emerge as opposed to a year ago. So, you know, coming out of spring, I'm really optimistic about the group. It's a young group. And you look at a guy like Drew, I'll just throw him out there. Drew is a guy who we chose to play about midseason last year. Kind of like Devon Smith, we just figured that the investment was going to be worth it. And, yeah, he's really, I think, you know, improving and growing, maturing. You know, I'd probably say the same thing about Mike Hardy. Mike's a little older guy who it seems like last spring for the first time since he's been here is starting to get a little traction and, you know, having some fun and doing some things well. So what I kind of envision is going to be a lot of guys helping us out. You know, all these up-tempo offenses probably wouldn't hurt to have 8 or 9 guys in the rotation. So we're hoping to get to that point. We'll just see how things come along.
Coach, Kirk, Sports Illustrated had a list of best coaches you're on. A few years later, they had a list of the worst coaches, and you're on that. Did you see that, and do you have any thoughts about that?
You know, if you lived in Iowa, you probably couldn't help but see it.
Yeah.
You know, and it's, you know, I don't think you have to be a Rhodes Scholar to figure out if your team wins the Orange Bowl, you're 7th in the country. They're going to think you're a good coach, and if you go 4-8, you're not so good. So it comes with the territory, and I figured as a little kid, it's more fun when you win than when you lose. You know, so that's just kind of the nature of the deal. But it comes with the territory, and if you can't handle that, then probably time to get out.
Does it see any negative as far as what schools use that in recruiting against you, maybe, or something?
You know, I haven't got any feedback on that. It's kind of ironic because in our own state, probably I read more good things about what we've done after that than, you know, probably any time in the last 5 years. So it had a funny twist to the whole thing. But, you know, I can tell you, I don't stay awake at night worrying about too much about what anybody writes. With all due respect, I know we have a lot of journalists in the room, but it's just not what I worry about. I worry about, what we're doing as a program, what we're doing as a team, and how can we get better, get back on the good list, and get back in that positive column.
How much of a difference